Injuries for Arsenal is something we've become accustomed to. But this isn't the end. Look, the belief, the fight, the hope. Look, an Arsenal player has gone down for surgery. Is this ideal? No, of course it's not. But there is a world in where this can actually help out Arsenal. You need to stick with me. This actually is better news than I thought I would be bringing you when you think of a player going down for surgery. I also want to speak about Jakub Kiwior because we have had the here we go. He is leaving Arsenal. And there's parts of that deal I am looking at and thinking, sheesh. But the England squad has been named. And I'm looking at some additions from that. And I'm thinking, no. So we're going to speak about it. Before we do, though, you know the drill. My name is Jed. And if you can help me out very quickly, just hit like and subscribe. So let's speak about this injury. But first of all, we've got the game against Liverpool on Sunday. And I've got my full match breakdown coming tomorrow. I just want to ask you a simple question. What is your match 11? What is the first team, your squad selection for that game against Liverpool that you would pick? Let me know in the comment section. So, Kai Havertz has had surgery. Usually, this is a kind of statement that you would look at and think, oh my God, how unlucky are Arsenal? How have we got another player out with a surgery? But there is some hope, some optimism around this procedure where it's like, no. He won't be out for months. This could be weeks. And if that is the case, then that is huge. Look, in Kai Havertz's absence, I actually think it helps Victor Gyökeres. I mean, we've had the conversation because Havertz isn't there, kind of breathing down his throat. A player which Mikel Arteta uses so often. Gyökeres has kind of been, I don't know, he's in that team with not a lot of... He knows if he doesn't score within the first 50 or 60 minutes, he's not looking over his shoulder and thinking, if I don't score, Havertz is going to be coming on, so he's not going to be snatching at chances. He knows he is the only recognised number 9. Of course, there's Marino on the bench. But Gyökeres, you would imagine, against a team like Liverpool, should be playing the full 90 minutes. That's where I think it's helped Arsenal, Havertz being out. Now, on the whole, as a player, Havertz being out with an injury, I don't think is a good thing because I like Havertz. Again, I know he's a divisive figure in the Arsenal fan base. It's either like you hate him or you really, really like him. I really, really like him. Was he the answer to Arsenal's problems up front? No, of course he wasn't. But I think Havertz will be used this season more, maybe in their midfield positions, what he was actually brought in for. But let me know your thoughts on this Havertz news. Do you think it's good news? Let me know. So I also want to speak about Jakub Kiwior because we have had the here we go. Fabrizio Romano, the price tag came out and I was thinking, whoa. But first, there's been a couple of new members on this channel, Hassan and Smithy. Just wanted to say thank you for joining. You can join as well if you would like. You have to go onto the desktop version of YouTube to be able to join as a member though. Those guys now have the badge next to their names. And in the near future, I will be doing live members content. So if you want to join, then you can do it that way. If not, that's absolutely fine. So Kiwior, here we go. When I saw the here we go, I was like, right, this frees up some money. Now we can go and buy in Nketiah. But then I saw the fee and it was like, right, there's a 2 million loan fee. And then it's a 17 million euro obligation. Now, when I saw 17 million euros, I thought it was like a bit of a misprint. I was thinking, surely not 70, like that's less than what we paid for Jakub Kiwior. And then it kind of said, no, but the deal can go up to 25 to 27 million euros. So the final fee for Jakub Kiwior will be somewhere around 23 million, 24 million. That would only be a tiny profit on Jakub Kiwior. I think there's two ways you can look at this. You can look at this and say, oh my God, why are we selling him so cheap? Arsenal are a terrible selling club. We should be getting more of a fee. That is not market value. Porto have had an absolute bargain. That part I agree with, by the way. Jakub Kiwior, although he's not at the level of a Saliba or a Gabriel, and he probably can't be the starting centre-back in a title-pushing team, he's still a very good squad player. You could still trust him in some very, very big games. Arsenal did trust him in some very big games, by the way. And although there was some doubts around him, Jakub Kiwior, maybe he wasn't always what we needed. And maybe there was some performances that we looked at and thought, he's not great here. There were some times where people had that expectation. And then he played against some good teams like Real Madrid. And they was like, do you know what? This guy's actually done very well. So I think there is a good player in there. With Jakub Kiwior, I think he can be a great player, and 17 million euros obligation seems very, very cheap. I think Porto have got a good deal. There's another way you can look at this. It's kind of like if you want to win the title, win the Champions League, compete with the Real Madrids, the PSGs, the Barcelonas, the Man Cities, it doesn't matter how much you're selling players for as long as you're bringing in better players. That could be a belief system that I could kind of understand. It's like, right, you didn't get the fee that you wanted for Jakub Kiwior, but you're bringing in a better option, or an option that will be more likely to break into this first team, I would say. You've got Nketiah now, who looks like, after Arsenal have freed up that player, freed up that position in the squad, I'm expecting this deal to be done. Nketiah comes in and for me can fight for that left-back position. And I've spoken about Nketiah in yesterday's or the ones before, where it's like, he improves that left side so much. Aggression, speed, power, overlapping. Like, the things so many people loved about Kieran Tierney, no matter what kind of flaws he had, it was the fact that he just gets down that left wing, and that will help out that left winger. If you have an overlapping, marauding fullback, that will help that left channel, because they're going to get forward. It means the left winger can kind of find some more space, and when he's whipping in balls, that will help Victor Gyökeres. For me, it's the perfect signing. So yes, the fee for Jakub Kiwior, I might look at and say, look, that seems cheap. At the same time, we're bringing in a better player, and to be honest, it's not my money. So although we can kind of have an opinion on it and be like, right, that's cheap, we're bringing in a better option. So what difference does it matter? Like, why does it matter so much? There is a big uproar about this Kiwior price. And like I said, I kind of do understand it, because it is cheap. But at the same time, all you would want is, if you are selling that player that a lot of us kind of like, just bring in a better option, then you should be happy. Yes, you're paying more money, but you're getting a better player, a player who will be more useful in allowing that left-hand side to be more used. We are right-side dominant at times. This just allows Arsenal to use that left side more with more success, I think. I want to speak about this England squad, because who's been picked? Miles Lewis-Skelly in the England squad. Declan Rice, Eze, Madueke. So many people were confused about the signing of Madueke. They were saying, look, he's not even that good of a player. But when you're being picked for England, this isn't the England of 10, 15 years ago, where there's kind of some names in there that you're thinking, I don't know, like the base 11 was really good. But there were some shouts in there where you're thinking, how has that guy got in there? But Madueke, 50 million for an England international, is kind of starting to look like not a bargain, but an expected price. People were saying we've well overpaid for Madueke. The truth is we probably haven't. That is the going rate for that level of player. Double digits goals last season, loads of assists. Again, this is just another reason to kind of feel like Madueke is the right signing. He's an England player. If we went and bought someone from Brazil or France, you would expect to pay for a winger £50 million or more. Arsenal paid £50 million for Madueke. So looking at that, it was kind of just like, right, there's some confidence I take for that. Obviously, the England manager appreciates this player as well. Mikel Arteta, the coaching staff, everyone likes him. Look, the guy hasn't played too much for Arsenal yet, but I just looked at that and I thought, brilliant. Miles Lewis-Skelly, I looked at that and I thought, brilliant. Look, he hasn't started this season that well, Miles Lewis-Skelly. That don't mean he's not a brilliant player. Everyone's seen the attributes. Now, if I'm being honest, pre-season and early this season, I've looked at him and thought, right, you are not reaching the form of last season yet. Like, there has been a little bit of a drop-off, or maybe, I don't know, is it a bit of rustiness? Does a young player need more time to kind of gain some momentum? But the fact he's been included in this England squad is huge, because more than anything, as an England fan, an Arsenal fan, I enjoy watching England more when there's Arsenal players in there. There was a period a few years ago, there was no Arsenal players, and I was thinking, unless it's a competition, then I don't really get much joy out of it, because these like kind of glorified friendlies or qualifiers, or they're frustrating coming in a season where all you want to do is just get back to watching Arsenal. But when you see Arsenal players in there, players like Eze, Madueke, Rice, MLS, you're like, right, okay, if I do have to watch England play, at least I still get to watch some Arsenal players as well. There was obviously no Ben White in this England team. That will be interesting to see what happens with that when Ben White does come back. Will he start to pick Ben White? Look, Ben White's a brilliant player. I think he's going to struggle now to get back in this Arsenal team over Yuri and Timber. I think there will be times where he will be used, but Timber looks so strong at the minute that I don't see Ben White forcing his way back in anytime soon. Again, maybe he could, but Ben White, will he get into that England squad? We'll have to see. Look, it's brilliant. Get more players in the England squad because I like watching Arsenal players, and if I can't watch Arsenal, at least I can watch them play for England. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Havertz having surgery, does this concern you? Do you expect it to only be a few weeks, or I don't know, other reports out there may be a bit optimistic? Do you see this dragging on for a couple of months? And what's your thoughts on that Kiwior deal? Is this cheap? Can you understand the deal? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.